Good morning from Athens. I just landed in beautiful Greece and it's also beautiful weather here. I'm gonna spend a few days here in Athens and then heading to Naxos on Friday for a huge birthday celebration of one of my best friends, and I want to share as much as possible on this video, in this channel. And why am I here? I just said it's mostly a birthday celebration, but it's also the chance to take a break and to slow down in life. And when you slow down, suddenly things come to the surface. You have questions, you have reflections, you have considerations about life, about career, about growth, and even about Aristotle. You know why? Because we're in Greece and we have to talk about philosophy and Aristotle and the meaning of life. So I felt like sharing a few reflections in a video, and I'm gonna do it in the following chapters. So check it out, because we're going to a couple of very nice places, both in Athens and in Naxos, and I will be sharing my reflections. But if you don't know me, my name is Federich. I'm an international lawyer on his YouTube journey, and I share insights about lawyering, personal growth, professional development in this channel with the hope to help as many people as possible. So check it out and stay connected and subscribe to the channel. So the truth is, walking around Athens is like stepping into a timeline that makes your own ambitions and achievements feel small, but in a good way. The thing is that you ask yourself, what am I building? What is the purpose of what I'm building? Will it last? And you really question the things you're doing in life, the legacy that you will have, and whether you're going in the right direction. This is when you order 2 small plates in Greece. Small ones. Just a piece of bread I asked for. Okay, I'm in Vouliagmeni beach now in Athens, and I was thinking, incorporate structured institutional environments like the European Commission or other similar environments. You operate in cycles. You have a short-term goal, you have a deadline, you have a case, you have a project, you complete it, and then you move on to another project. But then a place like Athens, a place like Greece, makes me think that long-term goals matter more than anything. Legacy matters more than anything. And also, just purpose matters more than anything. How can it not matter in such a place? And talking about purpose and meaning, I'm thinking about this beautiful neighborhood I'm in right now, called Anafiotika, built by fishermen coming from Anafi around 200 years ago. And you can really get lost in these streets. This neighborhood was built underneath the Acropolis. The Acropolis is up there, around 200 years ago, and they basically built an oasis of peace where they could spend their lives reminding themselves about their origins. And in fact, if you look around, the architecture and these narrow streets remind of some of the Greek Cyclades, some of the Greek islands, and this still remains despite the fact that there's plenty of tourists around here. So look at this beauty.
Where do you come from?
I come from Belgium, but I'm Italian.
Belgium.
Yeah, and so Anafi is a little island in the Cyclades, close to Santorini, and they came here. They came here to build this village. When was it built? When was it built? The village, you know?
Village?
This one, this village, this neighborhood.
This is called Anafiotika.
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 Very nice.
Place, yes. It comes from Ireland and
Anafi.
It's 200 years ago. This neighborhood.
Oh, it was built 200 years ago? Wow.
It's very old.
And talking about purpose and long-term goals, look at this place. This is the Panathinaiko of Athens. It's the place where marathons end. And one of the places, actually the main place, where the first Olympic Games took place. I've always wanted to visit this place, but I never managed. And as a runner, or maybe a runner to be, I run every now and then. I would love to run the Athens Marathon sooner or later and to finish it in such a place. Imagine what they thought, those who built it long ago, such a masterpiece, still nowadays in 2025. This is a perfect example of leaving some legacy behind and thinking about long-term goals. It's not just something that you enjoy for the moment, a short-term project. This is huge. Look at this and enjoy it.
Hi guys.
We're in Naxos. We're heading to Alki. How's it called, this place? Alki. The mountains in the middle of Naxos. And I'm driving here in these narrow streets. We're here with Katy and Marcello.
Hi guys.
Bergamo. And then came Naxos, a completely different rhythm. The pace is much slower, people are present, and then you realize that maybe growth doesn't really mean pushing harder, going faster. It also means stopping and taking the time to think, or at least breathe and enjoy. It's very weird to think that I, like many others, spent my life trying to achieve as much as possible. Try to be as efficient as possible. And then at one point you realize that some of the most meaningful moments in life that just happen when you're just enjoying, when you're not just trying to achieve, when you're just listening, you're sharing, you're enjoying. And that is part of becoming better too, much better in the end. So what makes me wonder is that people often talk about work-life balance. And I talked about it in another video too. The thing is that I don't really believe in it. In fact, I think that in life, you shouldn't think about balance, because balancing means that you are trying to compensate two opposing forces, two opposing directions. You're trying to balance out, in fact. We should rather talk about alignment, and that's what I'm trying to pursue in my life. Aligning the things you want to work on in your life and trying to get to the right direction, whatever you're doing in professional life and in your personal choices, in order to go in the right way and to find your right purpose. And just to conclude on this thought, I was thinking that balancing out two opposing forces means that somehow you are trying to compensate the struggle. There is a struggle somewhere and you're trying to compensate it. You're trying to balance it out, right? And when you think about alignment, you think about going in a certain direction, you think about intent, you think about purpose. And maybe the question is not really, did I find balance in my life? The question would be, am I embracing my life as a whole? Am I going in the right direction? So experiences like this one, going on an island, on a trip, in a beautiful place, are a reminder that you should try to find purpose in your life as a whole, and you shouldn't just compensate what it's not balancing out in your life. You should just ask yourself, is this the life that I want to do? Is this the life that completes me as a whole, not just as a professional, as an international lawyer, as an international professional, but as a whole, as a human being? By the way, here in Greece, it really feels like vacation, and this might be the smallest airport I've ever been to. Have a look. Here's the baggage claim, entrance, and nothing else than this room next to the runway. Amazing. Naxos 2025, officially the first time in my life on a propeller plane. Let's see how it goes.
Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit.
Since we are leaving Naxos now, after these 3 days, and we are on this propeller plane, I have a question for you. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Will you hold my hand in case I get scared on the plane?
Of course, honey. What?
Okay, back to Athens now, as you can see from the Acropolis in the back. And I just wanted to share a couple of statements from Aristotle, which I just read. But don't worry, I'll keep it as simple as possible. In fact, I just read that Aristotle thought that everything in life has a purpose, a so-called telos. And not only that, he thought that everyone should, in life, develop habits of excellence, or at least we should do our best to develop these habits in all of our daily activities, in the way we live, in the way we work. And finally, he also thought that in life, it's not about achieving, it's about flourishing. It's about, as I said, aligning our purpose, our habits of excellence with our way of living and with the way we feel. And in light of all these statements, I thought, okay, what would Aristotle think? What would Aristotle say about my work at the Commission, about everyone's work, in fact? Would he ask me, are you developing habits of excellence? Are you working with purpose? Are you achieving goals, or are you flourishing as a human being, regardless of what you're doing? And finally, I think that these are the real questions that we all should ask ourselves in our lives. So thank you, Aristotle. Thank you very much. And here I am back to Brussels. So my recent trip to Greece helped me to reconnect with a couple of things. First of all, the slowing down helps you to see clearly. Secondly, that alignment in life counts much more than balance. And thirdly, that asking the right questions, for instance about purpose, about growth, is already a form of progress, no matter how slow or fast you're going. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and maybe also Aristotle would approve that. Now back to work in Brussels, back to normal life, but let's do it with a little bit more of intention, with a little bit more of purpose, and maybe also by slowing down from time to time. Hey, wait, 150 emails? I have to go back to work!